You won't believe what Dr. Cornel West just said about the Democratic Party on MSNBC.
Biden would give you a fair shake if you ran in the primary?
No way, brother. Not a chance of a snowball in hell.
That's why he goes into the lion's den. He doesn't talk about the Republicans. He goes into the lion's den and he talks about the Democratic Party. Hello, my name is Tim Black. If you're new to the channel and you want to follow Cornel West's rise through the 2024 elections, this is the place you need to subscribe to. Hit subscribe and turn on all notifications. Dr. Cornel West consistently does something that I don't see done much by people that go on these networks.
What is that?
Dr. West goes on MSNBC, which is Democratic Party turf, and he calls them out to their faces.
Besides giving directly to Trump's campaign, if you wanted to do that, he says, quote, the best thing you can do to elect Trump is support RFK Jr. or Cornel West. No third-party candidate has gotten a single one electoral vote in over 50 years. That is math, and that is a fact in history. What do you say to your ally, Bernie Sanders, and to that math?
Well, there's two different levels to it. One, when you talk about the Democratic Party, we know that Brother Bernie was not treated justly and fairly by the Democratic Party. We know that he actually could have won, that rigged at the highest levels. So that anybody who says, well, to run a Democratic Party, no, that party is beyond redemption in terms of listening to the needs and cries of poor and working people in any substantive way. Bernie, for 2 years, showed that.
Well, let me press you on that right now. Are you saying that you don't think that this DNC and this President Biden would give you a fair shake if you ran in the primary?
No way, brother. Not a chance of a snowball in hell. Look at Brother RFK Jr. Look at Sister Williamson. There's no debate. It's anti-Socratic.
Okay.
It's anti-democratic.
Don't everybody clap at once. Haters. I love this, frankly. This is what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, we got Joe Biden sitting over here trying to ride into a re-election as the oldest president ever, using some old election numbers, economic numbers that don't mean a whole lot in people's real lives. Either he's trying to ride the wave of misleading numbers of people going back to work after the shutdown.
More than 700,000 people joined the labor force last month, which means the highest share of working-age Americans are in the workforce now than at any time in the past 20 years.
But Friday's closely watched report from the Labor Department also showed that the unemployment rate jumped to 3.8% from 3.5%, and wage gains moderated, suggesting that labor market conditions were weakening.
Or he's telling us pointless stories that don't make a damn bit of sense.
Or whether a path even exists anymore for them to be counted in. These invisible folks I grew up with. But I know we can forge that path. I'm confident we can. By building an economy where nobody's left behind. And I mean it, nobody's left behind.
As someone who's totally fed up with both parties, particularly the Democratic Party, with their nonsense of trying to pretend that they actually support black issues, when they don't, what they do is they run off black issues. The sentiments of the black community is basic. 49% of black Americans say they have not seen a change in their actual lives. So what those numbers say, they don't reflect reality, where 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 40% of black children live or beneath the poverty line. The number one cause of bankruptcy is still health care. Dr. West believes we all deserve health care. It's a human right.
On the health care, you
Yes.
talk about a Medicare for all style system. That is something that more progressives are looking at, but it costs, say, $30 trillion over a decade. How do you pay for that?
Well, we got 80% of Americans who want it because there's big money in big health. A lot of profits, and we're talking about democratizing those profits so that it's not a money-making activity, just like our military, right? Our military they have health care for all. Congress has health care for all.
That's fair.
How come? High priority. Well, why not poor people having high priority? Why don't working people have high priority? You got a strike going on right now in L.A. Stand with them. You got a strike coming with the UAW. I stand deeply with them. Why? Yeah. Not in the name of any kind of tribal or group sensibility, because it's a commitment to truth and justice.
So you're saying, hey, universal health care, we already have that. For the military, they get government health care.
And Congress, too.
Right, Congress, but when it comes to what you're calling everybody else, that's an interesting way to put it.
And Jamal and Letitia and Jim and James and Jose, they got the same status as Congress.
Joe Biden said if we try to get health care, universal health care to all Americans, he would veto it because he doesn't want that to happen. Because Big Pharma is a donor and it runs a lot of elections or pays for a lot of election funds for Democrats.
Already more than 500 rural hospitals across the country are on risk of closing. You know what the statistics show? If in fact you have a serious accident and you're in a rural community, you have a 4 times greater chance of dying than if you had the same exact accident in a community that is more populated. Because you can't get to the hospital. You can't get many places throughout the Midwest. You have to drive 30, 40 miles to get to a hospital. By that time, you're dead. Not a joke. It's not hyperbole, it's a fact.
And the healthcare is so high, if you do make it to the hospital, you get the treatment and you get the bill, you're going to wish you were dead anyway because you're going to be in debt for the rest of your life or living in the street because you can't pay your bills. The Democrats like to do is keep us fighting about can we keep Medicaid? Can we keep Medicaid? Make sure it doesn't go insolvent? Instead of talking about even universal healthcare like other countries have as a human right for every citizen. And how do you pay for it? How do you pay for it? Biden doesn't ask us, how do we pay for Ukraine?
President Biden admits the $33 billion package he is asking Congress to approve that we've been telling you about is a lot of money, but he says that's what it will take to keep up the fight to save Ukraine. And it includes more than $20 billion in new military assistance, $8.5 billion in economic assistance to help the government keep basic services, and $3 billion in humanitarian aid.
Here's the answer. How do we pay for the 800 different U.S. military bases across the world? But no, he wants to know how will we pay for health care. And even if we do manage to get it through Congress, we get a bill, we get enough people to sign on to the bill, and it passes through Congress, he said he would veto it. And this is why Dr. Cornel West says that this party, the Democratic Party, is unredeemable. And unredeemable, I don't know if people know what it means. It means...
Oh, that party is beyond redemption in terms of listening to the needs and cries of poor and working people in any substantive way.
It's unfixable. It's a stinker. It's dead. It doesn't work. It's no good. We need something new. This is about what's going to work for American people that understand that our backs are up against it. And that's why Dr. Cornel West running for the presidency under the Green Party is so significant. It means so much to so many people who know that there has to be a better way than the way that we have right now. Because what we have right now doesn't serve us, it serves corporate interest.
Very much so. I mean, the work with Brother Bernie Sanders, and you made this so clearly with your powerful and eloquent shows, though, brother, that my work with my dear brother Bernie Sanders, who I do have deep love and respect for. We have our disagreements, too. They cut very deep sometimes. But I love my brother. And it was very clear that they were going to do everything to ensure that he did not win. When our dear brother Obama made his phone call and made everybody drop out to make sure anybody but Bernie, they'd rather have Trump win than Bernie win. They'd rather actually lose than change. They made that very clear. And so it's, for me, I can't conceive of a Democratic Party that's not dominated with Wall Street interests, not dominated with militarism, not dominated with the Silicon Valley interests that really speaks to poor and working people.
So that's why when Dr. Cornel West goes on these platforms like a MSNBC or CNN, and they want to throw questions at him about why he wants to go against Biden, we all understand why.
You understand?
Yes, I understand.
Oh, yes, I understand.
Go to CornelWest24.org. Support this campaign. Remember, like I always say, don't you let nobody take your cornbread, especially not the Democratic Party. When they ask you, why does it have to be Dr. Cornel West, you tell them you agree with Tim Black. It's a new day.
Extra innings are bonus segments from Tim Black's Black Table Show with the Blacks. That's Tim Black and the amazing Mrs. Black. For early access to extra innings, become a paid member of the Tim Black Show at jointimblack.com. Ain't nothing like the real thing. Baby, join today. See you there, Wolfpack.